I'm Panda, and I don't understand people, because once a large group of people put cooking pots on their heads and genuinely believed it would cure them. Before I tell you this story, let me ask you something. Imagine someone walks up to you and says, "Put this on your head, it'll cure you." What would you do? You'd probably laugh. You might just walk away. But what if there were 1,000 people around you who had already put it on? This story takes place in China. In the early 1990s, it was a strange time and an uncertain one. China had just started opening up to the world. Everything was changing fast. People suddenly had more freedom, and with it, a lot more anxiety. Jobs changed, life changed. Things that once felt certain didn't anymore. But one thing didn't change. When people got sick, many still didn't know what to do. Hospitals existed, but not everyone could afford them. Medicine existed, but not every illness had an answer. And into that gap, something called Qigong began to spread. Qigong is a traditional Chinese practice. You can think of it as a mix of breathing, slow movement, and meditation. A bit like yoga, but older. On its own, it's a perfectly normal way to relax and stay healthy. But in 1990s China, it became something else. People started saying it could cure diseases, that if you practiced long enough, you could develop supernatural abilities, that masters could project their energy across long distances and affect physical objects. And then things started to get strange. Across China, millions of people became obsessed with it. 60 million. That's more people than I've ever seen in my entire life. People were practicing in parks, in offices, in classrooms, on mountaintops. It was everywhere. Dozens of Qigong magazines launched. Qigong clinics opened, one after another. Performances, seminars, training camps, all across the country. And someone looked at all of this and thought, there's money to be made. He looked at an aluminum pot sitting in his kitchen. He thought about it for a moment. Then he made a decision. He announced, this pot has a hidden function. An ordinary aluminum pot, once charged with Qigong energy, would transform into the information pot. What could the information pot do? Let me read you its feature list. 1. It could receive cosmic energy and universal magnetic fields. 2. Wearing it on your head would make you one with the universe. 3. It could cure all diseases. 4. It could communicate with alien civilizations. I read that and went quiet for a moment. Because the bowl I drink from every day can do more than that. It can, at least, actually hold water. So, how did you use the information pot? 4 steps. Step 1, hold the pot up and swing it through the air. Hard. The goal is to scoop the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into the pot. Yes, scoop, like you're ladling soup. Step 2, keep going until your arm starts to hurt. Then stop. Step 3, place the pot on your head. Step 4, sit cross-legged, close your eyes, and meditate. Wait for the cosmic signal to finish downloading. The first time I saw this footage, I just stared at it for a long time. Because I do that too. I stick my head into bowls and sniff around. But I'm a dog. I have a reason to do that. You might think that's where it ends. It doesn't. Because the thing about humans is, when they commit to something, they really commit. Some people decided the aluminum pot wasn't powerful enough, so they switched to stainless steel. The reasoning? Stainless steel is more advanced. It could absorb 3 times more cosmic energy than aluminum. 3 times. They did the math. The answer was 3 times. And then, there was one woman I have to mention. She had a pot on her head, and she had also hung the lid around her neck, top and bottom. Full coverage, no blind spots. I watched her for a long time, And honestly, she might have been the most logical person there. Okay, you're probably laughing right now. But I want to pause here for a second, because I don't think it's entirely fair to just laugh. Most of the people sitting there with pots on their heads weren't stupid. They were just ordinary people. Some just wanted to be a little healthier. Some believed it might prevent illness. Some were drawn in by the promise of a cure for themselves or someone they loved, and many of them simply looked around, saw everyone else doing it, and thought, maybe I shouldn't be the only one who doesn't. And they weren't surrounded by 10 people or 50. They were surrounded by hundreds, all doing the exact same thing. To stand up in that room and say, this is a scam, that takes a certain kind of courage. Most people don't have it, not in that moment, so they went quiet and they put the pot on, and many of them had already paid to be there. Once you've paid, it's much harder to admit you might have made a mistake. But on the other side of all of this, someone was doing it on purpose. At the peak of the Qigong craze, a woman emerged, a Qigong master named Zhang Xiangyu. In 1993, she held 27 sessions in just 2 weeks. She collected over 400,000 yuan in discipleship fees, roughly $50,000 at the time. For context, the average monthly wage for a worker in China then was only about 200 to 300 yuan, roughly $25 to $37 a month. In December of that same year, Zhang Shengyu was arrested for fraud. In 1994, the Chinese government issued a directive calling for the rejection of pseudoscience. The Qigong craze began to fade, and the information pot became a footnote in history. Let me run through the numbers. An ordinary aluminum pot, a few yuan, turned into an information pot. Hundreds, claimed features, cures all diseases, cosmic energy, alien contact. Outcome, a scam, people arrested, and that was it. I thought humans might have learned something. But then, new things showed up, different names, more advanced, quantum water. Supposedly it could restructure your cells and cure disease. Negative ion mattresses, nano wellness cups, magnetic bracelets, and a whole category of high-tech health devices with names I can't even pronounce. And honestly, no one wears them on their head anymore. Everything else feels pretty much the same. I'm Panda, and I still don't understand people. This keeps happening. Same idea, different forms. Okay, my food bowl's calling. I should probably go check if it has any special powers. At least, it actually holds food. See you next time.